esteemed Minister, and all the ministers, ambassadors, UN colleagues, senior UN colleagues from Bangkok. I see the regional director for UNEP, the RCHC from Kabul, and all the other distinguished guests who are around here today. Assalamu alaikum and very good morning. Today we gather here in Islamabad against a backdrop of undeniable reality. Climate change is no longer a distant threat. It's happening now and is the single greatest challenge we face as humans. Our Secretary General, Antonio Guterres, has recently stated, we are on the highway to climate hell with our foot still on the accelerator. Global emissions continue to rise towards a catastrophic temperature increase of 3.1 Celsius by the end of this century, far beyond the targets that were agreed in Paris. The science is clear, and you've heard from the minister here. The evidence is before us. For those who come from this region, I don't have to tell you the reality you face. Floods, wildfires, droughts, extreme weather events are becoming more frequent, more intense, and more devastating. In 2022, for those who are here in Pakistan, who live in Pakistan, your experience was globally known. About $30 billion were lost in economic terms. A third of the country was submerged underwater. A disaster of this magnitude should have been a wake-up call for the world. Yet the emissions continue to rise, and support for vulnerable nations to respond to the remain dramatically below what is needed. Let us be frank. This crisis is not of Pakistan's making, nor the global south. 20 countries, the richest 20 countries, contribute to 80% of global emissions, while countries like Pakistan and other countries in this region, specifically Pakistan, as the minister pointed out, contributes to less than 1% of the emissions, but bears the heavy brunt. We hear a lot about climate injustice, but for communities in many parts of this country, it's a lived reality. The injustice that is playing out is beyond emissions. It's deeply embedded in the global financial system itself. It's estimated that middle and low-income countries collectively have an external public debt stock of 3 trillion, figures that have doubled since 2030. You may wonder why that is important. These countries are servicing more in debt than they are in adaptation measures and investing in climate resilience of their communities. Recently, our Secretary General said, no example of international financial architecture failure is more glaring than the handling of debt. In the last 4 years, it has been nothing short of a debt disaster. Countries have been asked to choose between debt servicing or investing in education, or investing in health, or in the case of Pakistan, investing in climate resilience. Countries have been asked to borrow so that they can rebuild after a disaster they have not caused. So this is the global system we are when it comes to climate change. And recently in COP29, the world committed again to 30 billion to be provided to help vulnerable countries. But will these commitments be honored? We'll wait to see. But we must demand a climate finance that is predictable, accessible, adequate, and fair. The era also of corporate and national impunity for pollution must come to an end. Our Secretary General, again, has called on polluters to do more in being part of the solution. In this region of South Asia and globally, I don't have to tell you, specifically in South Asia, I don't have to tell you the impact of air pollution. Air pollution is something that South Asia together can do something about. Air pollution kills globally about 7 million people annually, and disproportionately affects this specific region. And I'm so happy that this conference conceived and by the Dawn team is an opportunity to really deal with something that collectively this region can deal with. When I was speaking to Harun during the initial discussion of this conference, one of the part that I really liked and wanted the UN to collaborate with Dawn was the issue of self-help, the concept of self-help. There's so much that the world and this region is not in control of, specifically when it comes to emissions. But I think we can all agree there are things that this region can do when it comes to air pollution. And I think this conference, an opportunity that it provides, is important. Pakistan has not been sitting and waiting. The minister has pointed out to some of the incredible plans that are ongoing, but I really want to mention this specific issue of the Living Indus initiative. And we have the Ministry of MOCC here. It was recognized by the UN World Restoration as a flagship program. It's one of the most ambitious climate adaptation and river restoration projects, and it aims to restore 30% of the Indus Basin by 2030. So I want to congratulate the government for the commitment on the Indus. I don't have to, again, re-emphasize how the Indus is an important lifeline for this country and how it has sustained this region for 5,000 years. Pakistan's leadership in restoring the Indus should be a source of national pride and a call for international support. The debate, I think we can all agree, is over, that Pakistan and the region must invest boldly on climate resilience and renewable energy, sustainable agriculture, mobilize private sector, and I'm really delighted to see that in this conference, with the support of Dawn, a lot of private sector leaders are here, and their commitment is very clear, and the role they have will be very important in this journey. I want to conclude by re-emphasizing a few things on terms of South Asia's leadership. I'm so happy to see a lot of presence from the entire region, and I'm also happy to see that the World Bank colleagues are here, and their commitment is steadfast. So are the other IFIs, IFAD. I also see that we have colleagues from the Asia Development Bank. We at the UN are committed to working with all of you to make sure that this region starts investing and making sure that it does its part in fighting global emission. The time is now for climate leadership, and I want to encourage all of you who are here today to participate in this conference to start finding tangible solutions to make sure this event is a start of something transformational for this region. Thank you very much, and Pakistan Zindabad.